Hey guys, I posted a video yesterday about going to see the premiere of Rogue One. That was in the wee hours of Thursday morning. It's now Friday night, late Friday night, and I've not long got back from watching it again. And I dare say, over the weekend, I'll be going to see it again. This is a brilliant movie. There will be spoilers in this. In my previous vid, I said I'd probably do a spoiler and spoiler-free version. I've thought about it, and what I want to say, there is no way I can get around it without doing spoilers. So I'm just going to do the one, which is going to be full of spoilers. So be warned, there are spoilers. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen the movie yet, why not? Basically, turn your computer off, get in your car, on your bike, on the bus, on the train, don't care how, get down to the cinema, watch it now. That's how good this movie is. Right, go. For those that have seen it and aren't worried about spoilers, let's proceed. Way back when this was first announced that they were making this movie, Kathleen Kennedy told us that this would not be part of the official saga, and it was a standalone Star Wars movie. I want to know why. Why isn't this part of the saga? This is a brilliant piece of storytelling, and it fits right in with the rest of the Star Wars saga. I hazard a guess that Episode 4, from here on in, will be known as the sequel. Starts no more than a day or two after this story finishes. Basically, Episode 4 is a continuation of this movie. So, Lucasfilm, why isn't this part of the official saga? Okay, rant over. The movie itself, I loved this movie. We start off finding a little bit of backstory about Jin and her family, and in particular her father, and how he ends up being forced to build this new weapon, this new super weapon, the Death Star. The young actress that plays the young Jin, they've done a very good match with her, like facially. It's not a far stretch of the imagination to look at the young actress who plays the young Jin and see Felicity Jones in her. She looks like she will grow up to be Felicity Jones. So, yeah, good bit of casting there. Felicity Jones herself, she's brilliant. The Star Wars universe has given us another strong female lead. I was thinking about it while I was getting ready to do this, and I tend to gravitate towards movies with strong female leads for some reason. Behind the Star Wars movies, one of my favourite movies is the original Alien. Well, quite a few of the Alien movies. Aliens 3 will, it's like Star Wars episodes 1 to 3 will just forget that was made. But Ellen Ripley, big strong character. I love that character. Other ones I can think of off the top of my head is Mila. I always stuff her name up. Mila Jovovich. Like I said, I always stuff her name up. Resident Evil. Another ass-kicking, strong female lead. Kate Beckinsale, the Underworld movies. Another strong lead. Yeah, I don't have a problem with female leads. Felicity Jones has just been added to that list. Mads Mikkelsen as Jen's father. I've always liked Mads. He's a good actor. His portrayal of Hannibal was brilliant, and I'm real happy with his casting in this movie. One thing that did bother me about not so much Mads or this movie was part of the storyline in episode 4. The rebels are given the plans to this new super weapon, the Death Star. The thing is the size of a small moon. It's huge. And in no time at all, they find this minuscule little defect, i.e. a 2-metre exhaust port. And they found it in record time, or seem to. Either these blokes are absolute geniuses, or extremely lucky. Mads' storyline in Rogue One explains this beautifully. I hate the Empire, but they're making me make this, so I'm sticking in a flaw, and here it is. Basically, it helps to know what you're looking for, especially when the guy that makes it also tells you how to blow the thing up. So yeah, it rounds that bit of the story off nicely. Another character, Forrest Whitaker, as Saw Gerrera. I'm not really sold on this character. He gives a bit of backstory, like from the time Jen's parents are taken to when she was 16 or so. But that's pretty much his part of the movie. He doesn't actually progress learn how to speak, progress the movie any further. The outcome of the movie would still be the same if he wasn't even in the movie. So yeah, I wasn't too upset about his early demise. Diego Laguna as Cassian. I've not seen him in anything else. Same as Felicity Jones. I like him as an actor. He did the part justice. He's like a man who has a dark past, and he's got the ghosts of that past following him. Doesn't really trust outsiders, but once he realises that yes, him and Jen do have their differences, they also have a common goal, and he's going to help her come hell or high water and protect her and help her to get the final outcome, to steal the plans, and he's going to do it to death, which as it turns out he does. So yeah, there's a spoiler for the ending. Alan Tudyk as K2SO. I said in a previous video that I love Alan. He's got a very dry sense of humour. It's a humour that I really like, and I was hoping the writers of this would write to that sense of humour. They didn't disappoint. K2SO is basically the comic relief of the movie, and he's got some, like I said, some very dry humour. His lines are delivered beautifully, but at the same time he does have an important role to play, and when his final end comes, he basically dies protecting Jin and Cassian so they can continue their work and steal the plans. So that was a great character. I'd like to have seen more of him. There was a fair bit of him on screen, but yeah, I'd like to have seen more of him. He was a great character. I've got a tickle in my throat. Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic. Poor Krennic. I saw him as middle management. The guy just wants to get ahead in his career, and it seems certain upper management types are trying to steal his thunder and claim his success as their own. He's been battling throughout his career to make a name for himself, and he's just getting smacked down by both his superiors, and now the rebels have joined in there smacking him down. He's just not getting on. I've got to feel sorry for the poor bloke. We know already from episode 4 that Tarkin is in charge of the Death Star. So it's not too much of a stretch of the imagination to realise that Krennic's part in this is not going to end well for Krennic. The Death Star's his baby, but we know that Tarkin takes over. So, yeah, it's not going to end well for Krennic. And as it turns out, it doesn't. So, yeah, we know from the very beginning that the outcome's not going to be a happy one for Krennic. And that brings us to Grand Moff Tarkin himself, or Governor Tarkin as he's known in this. Obviously, we weren't going to get Peter Cushing to reprise his role as Grand Moff Tarkin. Peter passed away some 22 years ago. But the character itself, the voicing was brilliantly done. Guy Henry, I think the bloke's name was, did a brilliant job at the voice. The character was obviously CGI, which at first there was just this little niggly, I don't know about this. I've seen other movies where they've tried to make realistic CGI people. I've never had to do it, thankfully, because I'm only assuming it is a pig of a job. The human face is so hard to reproduce. Just all the little intricacies, muscle movements. It's going to be a horrible thing to try and do. I've seen movies where they've tried and come close. I've seen movies they've tried and they've done a good job. This one would have to be one of the better, if not the best, jobs I've seen. More often than not, even though I knew it was CGI, more often than not, I forgot it was CGI, and I saw it as Peter Cushing. So, kudos to the guys who did the animation for them to get someone to forget that it is animation and not a real character. They've done their job well. They've done it very, very well. So I'll go through the things I do and didn't like about the movies. Things I didn't like about the movie. Apart from what I just said about the CGI, there's not a whole lot I didn't like about it. I really can't think of anything. Well, that was short and sweet. Yeah. Oh, that's about it. Things I did like. Basically, from the word Lucasfilm to the end credits. Yep, that's pretty much what I liked about the movie. Suppose I should elaborate a bit more, otherwise this is going to be a real quick video. Personally, I liked The Force Awakens. I think this movie blew that out of the water. With the original movies and also with Force Awakens, we've got a Death Star, we've got a bigger Death Star, we've got a planet that thinks it's a Death Star. Let's do a trench run, blow shit up. That's been the formula. It's a tried and true formula. It works time and time again. Just look at Force Awakens. It was the same formula, and it got bums on seats. It was breaking box office records everywhere. So it's a formula that works, so why mess with it? Just keep on going. This was a lot different. Yes, the Death Star was in it, and the movie was about getting the plans to destroy that Death Star, but it was a story away from the Death Star as well. The Death Star basically took a back seat in this movie, and it's centered mainly on other characters doing other things away from that Death Star. So, still, yeah, that formula works, and if they bring out another Star Wars movie with that formula, I'll probably be first in line to see it again. Yeah. The movie was brilliantly written. The portrayals of all the characters were marvellously done. The fight scenes, the big battle scenes, all beautifully shot. The CGI involved, like I said, with people it's hard to do, but with machinery, planes, spaceships, stuff like that, they've got that down pat. Take the AT-ATs on the beach. When we were first introduced to the AT-ATs back in Hoth, in the Battle of Hoth, they were obviously stop motion animation, and you could tell, but we still enjoyed them. The AT-ATs in this were absolutely awesome. They were beautifully done. You would believe that they were there. There's a scene there that Baze fires a rocket at one of them, hits it and forces its head to the side, and it stops there for a second, and then it just turns back, and all I could imagine in my head was the AT-AT looking back and going, dude, really? Did you just do that? These things are so lifelike now. Yeah, so CGI that way, it's working beautifully. All the spaceships, the planets, all beautifully shot. I'm really, really happy. We see the return of the quad-engine X-Wings. We see Y-Wings. We see a few new ships. The U-Wing, I think it was called. There's a few Imperial fighters that I hadn't seen before. So yeah, they're all floating around. A lot of the Rebel ships from the original trilogy were back. So that was good to see. Again, back with the actors, their portrayals of their characters were beautifully done. The end for Jin and Cassian, they'd done their job. They got the plans up to the rebel fleet. They knew there was no way off that planet, and they knew their deaths were inevitable. So they saw the oncoming devastation. They accepted it, they sat down, they embraced, they waited for death. Powerful scene, beautifully shot. And even the remainder of the rebels that were on board Rogue One, Baze, the priest, the pilot. We knew from episode 4, Mon Mothma told us that many people died, or many Bothans died, getting the plans. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that the rebels that went down to get the plans, it was a one-way trip. They weren't coming back. So yeah, no big surprise that they basically all died. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, there's a major spoiler. Cameos were aplenty, and I'm not talking about actor cameos like we had in Force Awakens with Daniel Craig playing Stormtrooper, blah blah blah. I'm talking about actual characters from previous movies. People like Ponda Baba and Cornelius Evanson, something like that, from the Cantina. The whole, he doesn't like you, I don't like you, we're wanted men, you know. Yeah, I know more than a few of the audience were pretty quick to spot them too. R5D4, the droid that the Jawas tried selling Uncle Owen in episode 4. I'm pretty sure I spotted either him or a very similar droid, another R5 unit, floating around the streets of Jeddah. Who else was there? There was a gold droid. I'm pretty sure I seen him on Jabba's yacht. Pretty sure that's where I seen him. He was there. There was, what else was there? Imperial probe droid was floating around, or small version of one. Yeah, I know there's probably hundreds of these droids floating around the Star Wars universe, but yeah, it was nice to see them. Two droids I didn't see, I can't remember seeing, was the Gonk and the mouse droids. Normally we see them floating around everywhere, especially the mouse droids running around all the Imperial ships. I can't actually remember seeing one. Oh. And for those who were really quick and really observant, anyone spot Drew Henley and Angus McInnes? I did. I nearly fell out of my chair when I was seeing them. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm referring to Red Leader and Gold Leader. These guys are from episode 4. And when I say they're from episode 4, I mean they are directly out of episode 4. Their scenes were basically cut from episode 4 and put in this movie. Yeah, so they're definitely there. It was a nice little Easter egg for those who spotted it. Jimmy Smits. It's no surprise that I'm not a fan of episodes 1, 2 and 3. Most people would have figured that out by now. But he reprises his reprises his role as Bail Organa, Senator Organa, Leia's stepfather. Even though I wasn't a fan of the movies, like 1, 2 and 3, I did have a big stupid grin on my face when he stepped out of the shadows and we seen him for the first time. Yeah, I was like the Cheshire Cat. I was just this big silly grin on my face. And the little exchange between him and Mon Mothma about getting a message to his Jedi friend who's been in hiding since the Emperor's kill order, Order 66, and that the messenger that they send to him is going to have to be someone Bail trusts. And he just turns around and goes, yeah, I trust her with my life. I wonder who they're talking about. Oh, well, just going to have to watch the sequel and find out, I think. I actually haven't seen the original movies for a while now. Well, I see a marathon coming up in my not so distant future. There was also a cute little scene with Mon Mothma after the briefing. She's walking out and a private comes running over to her to say that they've had confirmation that there was rebels attacking the Imperial base. Even though that the council had said no to the mission, that these guys had gone anyway, so she had this sly little smile on her face. It was just rather cute to see. Other cameos, who have I missed? What Star Wars movie wouldn't be complete without the dynamic duo R2 and C3PO? Anthony Daniels seems to be continuing his tradition of being, as far as I'm aware, the only actor to be in all of them. I may be wrong. Let me know if I am. But as far as I know, Daniels is the only one to be in all of them. So, who have I left out? Who indeed? It's no surprise to anyone that knows me or people that have seen previous vids. I'm a bit of a Vader fan, and the big fella's back. I'm probably going to get emotional again. Oh my god, didn't he come back? First we see him, he's in one of those medical tubes, similar to what we saw Luke in. But this time we see him stripped down. We've seen Vader without his helmet before, but we've never seen him stripped down like this, showing the true extent of his injuries. The amount of mechanics he's got on his body, it just goes to show how messed up the man really is. But when we see Krennic waiting for Vader, and we see that the bulkhead lifting up, and we see Vader in all his splendour and full armour, and then we hear that iconic James Earl Jones baritone voice. I felt like a 12-year-old girl at a Bieber concert. I was losing my mind. It was incredible. The big fella's back and I'm happy, man. Downside, well, not so much a downside, but when there's a scene there, Krennic's talking to him and Vader's walking away, and Krennic's basically saying, oh, will you tell the Emperor that I've been a good boy, blah blah blah, and I've done what he wanted. You can start to see Krennic choking, and you know what's going on. Vader's choking him, doing the Force choke. You see Vader turn around, and I can't remember the exact words because I was just fanboying so much, but it was something like, don't let your words choke you or something. And I'm thinking, please don't say that he's been reduced just to telling really bad dad jokes. The writers redeem themselves later on, and they redeem themselves in a magnificent way. During the final battle between the two fleets, Tarkin remarks to one of his underlings that they're to concentrate on the planet, and Vader will take care of the rebel fleet. Anyway, Jyn uploads the plans. The fleet's like, yep, we got the plans, and we're out of here. And they all start jumping to light speed. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, hang on, isn't Vader meant to be sorting these dudes out? Halfway through the fleet's retreat, an Imperial ship comes out of light speed and blocks them. That ship is none other than the Devastator, Vader's ship. They start fragging the remainder of the rebels, and they cripple the rebel flagship. We know, well, the Empire knows that the plans have been uploaded to the ship, so they want them back. So of course, they send a boarding party. The scene where they're downloading the information onto a floppy disk, the guys have invented faster than light speed, lightsabers, ray guns, and they're still operating on floppy disks. Yeah, okay. But, as I was saying, they've got everything on disk, and they're trying to get it to its final destination. All the lights in the hallway go out, they're being boarded. It's dark, and there's an eerie silence, and you can hear the airlock doors opening, and footsteps. And it's all dark, you can't see what's going on. Well, you can't see who's coming in. We pretty much know who's coming in. The saber lights up, and all you can see is Vader in the glow of the saber. By this time, I am exploding out of my seat, fanboying. I was just freaking out. Are we going to get the Vader we always wanted? Let's face it, the man has ample reason to be pissed off. He's lost the woman that he's loved since he was a child. He believes he's lost his child. He believes that his mentor and great friend Obi-Wan betrayed him. His Padawan, and I'm talking movies, Clone Wars, Rebels. His Padawan Ahsoka has left him and joined the rebellion. He's horribly misfigured. Most of his arms and legs, his limbs, have either been burnt or hacked off. So yeah, he's got plenty of reasons not to be a happy camper. So, are we going to get the Vader we want? Oh, hell yeah! Rebels are trying to do this big relay to get the plans out of his reach. Vader just loses it. He's hacking and he's slashing. Bodies flying, he's picking dudes up with the Force, throwing them against walls, throwing them against ceilings. Dudes up against walls are copping sabers through them, getting cut and sliced, and oh, it was a real slasher fest. So yeah, we finally got the Vader we wanted. A nice, happy, angry Vader. As we know, the plans did end up on the Tanti 4 with Leia. Again, we couldn't have Carrie Fisher as a young Leia, and it was CGI. The CGI on her looked good up until the moment she spoke, and then it was obvious CGI. That being said, I still had an idiot of a grin on my face, even through the closing credits. I just sat in the theatre both times, first time and even last night. I just sat there with this big stupid grin on my face. I was so happy, just so happy. Yeah, so I think it's time I dig my hard drive out and watch the sequel, also known as episode 4. So yeah, if you've seen it and you enjoyed it half as much as I did, you obviously really enjoyed it. For those who haven't seen it but still insisted on listening to me babble on, like I said at the beginning, get off your butt, go out the door, go to your cinema, go watch this movie. It is a brilliant, brilliant movie. I cannot recommend this thing enough. So go see it if you haven't. With that, I think I've been rambling long enough, and I shall leave it there. So I shall say thanks for listening, and I shall catch you in the next video. Okay guys, catch you around.